cameras. It's a lot easier if you only have 4 cameras, but a lot of people want to spread it out and they want to have 10 or 16 or whatever. That's a lot of things to be watching all at one time, because all it takes is that 1 second you pull your eyes off, and then the Holy Grail could be happening down here on screen 10.
Oh yeah.
And it's just it's a really difficult field. I mean, when you talk about being a surveillance guru or whatever, I mean, it's like being a private investigator, but heightening it like 200%, because you have to watch everything.
That's a fact, and the only reason why we even found what we found on our DVR system was because we had people keeping the notes, and then we had this one stretch of time that was half an hour long where nothing was written down.
So that made him go, yeah, what was going on here?
Okay, we got half an hour where nothing was written down. I got to check this out.
Yeah.
And that's where it was found at, and it's like, wow, how'd this get mixed?
Yeah, because that was pretty obvious to us, but yeah, we just, we can go over the video, of course, but we just have someone there to try to catch anything while it's happening. Sometimes it works, like people will say, the REM pod's going off, and we're not in that room, so we go to that room for the REM pod, but
right.
It is a lot to go over, and a lot of behind-the-scenes work that a lot of people, I don't think, realize goes into it.
Yeah, definitely need to hop up on the caffeine when you're watching video.
That's exactly right. I know our editors, they probably want to kill us because we just send them, and we still do it the old style. Like they're like, can you just type it up? Be like, no, you're going to get a screenshot of my notepad of about 22 pages. And that's what they get. It was like, can you type that up? No. Like, here you go. Here's you about 12 screenshots.
Well, you already took the time to write it. Why do you need to type it up too?
Yeah. I don't enjoy typing. I mean, I like things that look neat, but not when I just went through 175,000 hours of video and audio. And I'd really rather not anybody come in the door and say hello to me. So they're getting a screenshot of my scribble chicken scratch.
Don't blame you there.
It's like I got an appointment with a pillow.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. Yep, we know that feeling far too well. So you've been actually involved in a few different TV shows. You've done a few different things.
That's true. I was informed the other day we're the first paranormal team to ever have, I think, 4 TV shows.
Wow.
I think. And I was like, well, it's a good thing. It's like, well, you guys keep coming back from canceled death. I'm like, well, I said, actually, we've never been canceled. I was like, they keep asking us how we want to evolve, and that's what we keep doing. Like we did Ghostland, Tennessee. Then we turned around and did Ghost Asylum, and we want to kind of get back into just more towns, like talking to people, interacting with people, because we're so far just staying in these insane asylums and things like that. Like we weren't talking to people. Like we never had interaction with anybody. We're just stuck in these crazy places all the time, and that works on your psyche. So we want to kind of get back to our base roots, and start doing some towns and resident businesses and that kind of thing. And then we did Exorcism Live, and then we did Haunted Live. So I mean, we've done quite a few shows, which like I said earlier, we're blessed to have that and be able to work with a company with Discovery, that lets us be able to do that kind of thing.
We got a question from Mayla. She wants to know if anything has ever followed you home.
Oh yeah, that's definitely happened. No matter how much you pray up or anything like that, we're still not sure what some of this is out here. And yeah, I've had a few things follow me home. My wife's wanted to kill me so I could join them on the other side because she cares nothing about the paranormal. She cares nothing about scary things. She don't want them in this house. And we've had a few times there was something like set on our bed. The whole end went down, and we knew it wasn't the cat. The cat was beside of us, and she was about to kill me then. One night, our closet. We got a walk-in closet, and this bright light just flashed like somebody took a picture in there. And it was right after I seen this shadow figure that was beside the bed. Like I woke up because I had this eerie feeling that something was looking at me. When I woke up, I have a big window beside my bed, and I can see, and the whole window was blocked out, and it was like this thing was right down in my face. And when I woke up, I was like, I thought there was somebody in the house. Well, I jumped up automatically, fixing the swing, and this thing shot over to the closet and scared her. But the closet just lit up and was gone. Um, the one that people have heard recently, Chris and I had the same things going on. We were on an investigation in this historical mansion that we've been trying to get in for years. It was actually on Haunted Live, Craig Fun. And we had been there one time before, the first time they ever let us in there to do an investigation. And it was one of those ones, it wasn't for show because we couldn't let it out to anybody. It was to go back in old school to kind of get our experience because we've always wanted to get into this place. And when we come back, we were both experiencing like 3 knocks. And the 3 knocks I was experiencing was in our stairway going into our great room. There's no way to access that unless you tear the stairway apart. There's no way to get, there's no closet behind it. It's just built in right there, going into the other level of our home. And one night, my wife said, I told you something followed you home. And I was like, all right, I'm going to deal with this right now. We were sitting there watching TV, and I muted the TV, and I was like, all right, whatever this is, I said, if you follow me from Craig Font, wherever, I said, you need to leave here. You are not welcome here. I was like, in the name of Jesus, you need to get out of my house. And over by the big screen TV, she has these candles. She has these big woodwick candles, but she buys these decorative heavy tops to go on them to put them out. And I'd say probably 10, 15 seconds, it was just kind of silence to see if anything had happened. I was like, well, I guess that took care of it. And I just kind of leaned back onto the couch, and that lid shot across the room towards me, and that was the last thing we experienced after that. So it was almost like whatever it was, like, okay, you don't want me here, the heck with you, through the lid, and that was the last thing. I haven't experienced 3 knocks or anything to that nature. So hopefully whatever it is, it's gone now. I try not to pay that stuff much attention, because the more attention you give it, the longer it's going to stay.
Or you just have kids that scare it off, one or the other.
That too. Mine's a little older, and he stays gone a lot, college and all that kind of stuff. So he's not here to scare whatever it is like he has me all these years. So me and the wife's a little more, calm. The house is a little more quiet than normal with him in and out so much.
I actually have a follow-up question to that. Mm-hmm. With having something follow you home, has it ever followed you to another investigation?
Yes, that I have had, and a lot of the team members can vouch for this place called the Thomas House in Red Bull Springs, Tennessee. We do a lot of events there. Mike and I were actually doing an event up there. All the guys were there, but we went up early and stayed like an extra day. And there's a little girl named Sarah there. Well, we were up there, and she seemed to take a liking to me. Like, she followed me everywhere, and I was getting, through all my applications and voice recordings, everything was coming through. It was Sarah this, and then it kept saying Doogie. Kept saying my name. Even I was downstairs and the other team was upstairs, and because we were doing like an event, and they even said it kept saying my name upstairs through their ghost box and that kind of thing. It just kept saying Doogie. And when we left there, I started noticing things here at the house, just little random things. Like I would see like a little shadow person, or hear what sounded like a little girl, or things like that. And we had another event there like a few weeks later, and it iced real bad. Well, Mike and them had already went up there, and I couldn't make it out because I had to pick my wife up from work and bring her home. And So I told them, I was like, guys, I'm not going to be able to make it. I said, it's already icing. I said, I'm not going to risk coming up there. Well, they did the event and investigation, and they always got Sarah, but that whole weekend they never got Sarah one time. And this went on for months. You know, nobody was getting any interaction with her, but constantly in my house. And I finally one day I was riding in the truck. I said, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. So I turned on, you know, one of my apps that I use, and I started asking questions in the truck. I said, Sarah, are you here? And she comes through in this one voice. She said, I'm here. It's like, okay, that's weird. I'm riding down the road to my house, and I'm like, okay, you got me there. I said, what are we riding in? And sure enough, no other voices coming through. Truck. It's like, okay. It's like, this is getting really, really weird. I was like, what color is my truck? Silver. I was like, all right. Turned the app off. I was like, I'm good. All right, she's here. I got to figure out how to get her back to her home. Go back to your home. But it's took a while, and even people out there, even Epic Beard guy I was talking about earlier, he's been around when I've got her name. She's followed me to Rosemont. I actually had her come through. I was like, where are you from at Rosemont? And it said Thomas House. So it's very intelligent, and she seemed to follow me for a long time, to the Palace events, to, I mean, all over for, I know, a good 6 months.
I had that.
Yeah, and that's the reason I asked about has it ever followed you to any other investigations? Because Becky had her own little stalker boyfriend, Ghost Spirit.
A stalker boyfriend? That's what you're calling him? Okay.
Stalker boyfriend. It's kind of trippy. It's like really weird because you don't expect something to follow you to other places. Like sometimes they'll follow you to one place and then they'll stay there. They don't follow you anywhere else. But that's the only other time in all my years that I've had something follow me to other investigations, like follow me for that long.
Yeah, it was a good probably 6 months that I had this stalker boyfriend, apparently. And as we mentioned before, we have 4 daughters, and the daughters nicknamed him Richie, and I would see his shadow at the foot of my bed. Will would see it in like the kitchen, and we would get his voice when we did other locations, because he had like this voice we could recognize. And it was really funny because all of a sudden he just disappeared, but I noticed that when he stopped coming around was when our kids started blaming him for everything.
Oh, really?
Richie did it. Who broke the plate?
Yeah.
Richie did it. Then he just kind of left. So see, that's why I said if you have kids, they don't tend to stick around as much because I guess they figure they're not resting in peace anymore.
Right, yeah. They're blaming me for everything. This is bull crap. I'm leaving.
Yep, exactly. So whenever anything follows us home, we're like, give it a couple days. The kids will make it leave.
Yeah. Let the kids start blaming it for everything. Then they'll go back to where they're from.
Yep.
For
exactly.
sure.
I don't worry about it too much anymore.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning the apps on just a minute ago, and we're being asked what apps do you use?
Okay. There's a million of them out here, but the two that I use that I've just got so much concrete evidence from it. Not only it's saying the same thing as my Ovilus, or it says the same thing. I get an EVP of it saying that, and it comes through the app just directly after. Is the Spiritus Ghost Box and the Echo Box. Two different apps, but I've actually used both of them at the same time to kind of solidify that this is really going down, and it comes through and says the same things at the same point in time that's very relevant, or it's a name, that kind of thing. So those are my two go-tos. I'm not saying there's not more out there, but those are the only two that I've narrowed down that I trust, even a little bit, because the rest of the stuff is just, so random out here. But, as they say, these things can manipulate what they want to. So, I mean, it's not to say that there's not another app out here that you can't try. I mean, it's all about putting the work in, putting the time in to figure out which ones work. I know you don't want to spend $20 on something, and be like, well, this is junk, so So that's a very good question. That way you can let somebody else do the work and figure out before you spend your 20,